My topic is really going to be of interest and of importance because this is the topic of spaying of animals in Kharkiv. Sorry once again that our internet acts up and you cannot probably hear me well enough, but I will send my presentation later, of course. So the topic of my presentation refers to the 7 months of the war and the spaying in the military Kharkiv. I would start with saying that after the outbreak of the full-scale war, we came to realize that it's going to be difficult for people and for animals to survive. When we joined in March direct assistance provision to animals with food, and my great thanks go to UPAW because in March they started helping us, and we saw a really huge problem related to a great number of animals. Let me mention that as of March, in Kharkiv, at the end of March, this is the figure for the end of March, was 450,000 people. Well, there used to be 1,400,000, which means that one-fourth was left in the city. The number of animals that were left per every person in the city increased by 4 or 5 times, which means that this is such a great load on people that it is clear that the situation is hardly controlled. So that's why we raised the issue of spaying of animals. Spaying of animals could be split into 2 phases. The first stage is about February to May. That's when we had a very dangerous situation, and the other stage was starting with June and up till now. This is an absolutely different stage in Kharkiv animal spaying. Let me tell what the main actors in this process are. These are, first of all, the initiative of public organizations um, and the NGO Together, the volunteers of which, the managers of which raised the issue of spaying. Also, these were owners and caregivers of the animals who joined us, and also veterinaries who were still staying there. You know that 80% of our veterinaries have left Kharkiv. I mean, the ones which were available in the city and with whom we worked. So their assistance was really relevant. There were a lot of wounded animals. And the clinics were closed, so it was really difficult to work with animals, and it was dangerous to transport the animals. We didn't have enough resources for spaying. We were doing this in insecure conditions. People were in danger. Caregivers, owners of animals were in danger. And these were the circumstances under which we arranged spaying. And in the first months, we cooperated with one clinic. This clinic did not close throughout the whole period of the war up till now. And it was our basic clinic for spaying. In the northern part of the city, a branch of this clinic was opened, but mainly we were dealing with the main office. Over that period, we arranged spaying of only some animals, and a lot of people were helping us with transportation. And then we had donors, and donors is the fourth actor in this process. So the donors were our acquaintances, families, individuals. The donations were small over that period, but all in all, they made 36,000 hryvnias, and these were the donations of just 10 people and 2 small organizations. Forgotten Animals Organization and UPAW. They were the first to start helping us, and they provided 70,000 and 10,000 hryvnias, respectively, for animal spaying. And let me mention that we were developing the algorithm, we were coordinating the price. The price increased by 1.5 times. But anyway, we developed an algorithm of that period and we realized how difficult it was, but that was absolutely necessary. And everybody asked us, when are we going, then how are we going to arrange staying? And we gave answers to the question. 38 animals, out of them 7 dogs, and 31 cats is not that much, of course. And, there are always more cats. It's easier to transport them for spaying, and there are generally more cats, and they breed very quickly. Yeah, so just 38 animals over the period from March to June is not a lot, but this means at least 200 kittens and puppies that would have a very tough fate in this period for Kharkiv. And we realized that we need to move on. When the security situation improved a little bit, when there was not so much shelling in June, and actually this period lasts up till now, we see a great process of accumulation of spaying effort. 4 public organizations are involved in the process of spaying. This is the Together NGO, the League of Animal Health, that is also Animal Rescue Kharkiv, UPAW. It's also joining us, and it will have its own project in Kharkiv. And besides some physical entities, some individuals acting as donors, we also got some international spaying projects from world organizations. From the International Animal Protection Foundation, which cooperates with the Association of Veterinary Clinic Owners, and also cooperates with the World Association on Animals of Ukraine. And all these projects have rather significant donations which are given to clinics. So now we can see that the needs for spaying is still there. It is high. And what are the figures that we have currently got? So the public sector has arranged spelling of 821 animals. Yes, this is about the public sector, the NGOs. But all in all, we have one more organization helping us. This is a state-owned organization. These are municipal companies, so they have also arranged spaying on a free of charge basis for some animals. This is about 300 animals, according to their statistical data. And we are also talking about large projects, the ones which we consider to be large, and these are normally implemented in 3 clinics. And the donors here are the International Animal Protection Foundation, which works with Vet Clinic Dovira, Vet Clinic Impulse, and Center. But public sector has ensured spaying of more animals, while large projects have got only about 330 or 340 animals for 3 clinics, which I have mentioned. So we can see that there is a need for assistance from such large projects that would accelerate their work. And they can accelerate their work because they need to support the public sector. Volunteers, caregivers, assistants, and managers of the projects that are being implemented in the Kharkiv by the public sector. Because if large donations come to a clinic, a veterinary clinic, the procedure is slower if there is no organizational support provided by the public sector. we can see that Spaying in the city includes 11 clinics, while we started with just one veterinary clinic, which means that the capacity has increased 10 times. As far as the number of animals are concerned, we have 1,300 animals which have actually undergone spaying, which means that the process is going on. 1,300 animals, this is quite a lot as we think. This means that no, we have spared the lives of about 600, or rather not the lives, but the fates of about 6,000 cats and dogs, small cats and dogs. We don't know. Some families are getting back. We don't know whether they will take their animals back or not. But we need to get ready for winterization, and our great need is to really increase the presence of staying projects here. Why is it so much important? The point is that under martial law in the military period, the migration of animals is rather dynamic, and they are moving across the city. They are trying to hide and to approach people when shelling takes place. They are really trying to find people, and people live in the suburbs of the city, in the basements, and they are staying there because of the animals. There are some micro districts in the suburbs like Derhachi, Mala Danilivka, Velika Danilivka, and the north of Saltivka. So people are staying there and they are living in the basement because they don't want to leave their pets. And we are trying to provide assistance to them, in particular with spaying of their animals. What is currently important? Of importance is the fact that we have introduced the concept of mobile spaying stations. And we will be helping them to perform their activity, and they will work with spaying of dogs as a priority. And already this week, and on the occasion of the World Animal Day, we will also implement a project of the mobile spaying station. The donor is UPAW. We are working with a pilot project with Viktor Vorotnikov, who is helping us in the east of Ukraine. He helps us with spaying of animals in occupied and deoccupied territories. And it is for the first time that we will be working on a pilot with him. This is the donation of 36,000 hryvnias, and we will have spaying for cats and dogs. The prices are acceptable, the same as beneficial prices in clinics, and the approximate price for cat is about 20 euros, and the price of the dog spaying is about 35 euros, which means that for a small amount of money, public sector could get involved, thanks to those donations, thanks to veterinary doctors, in the spaying of cats and dogs via those mobile stations. We have also addressed the organization for paws. They are also thinking about this, and I hope that they will also provide assistance to us in Kharkiv. And we want to spay much more dogs because, according to our statistics, 81% of the animals spayed are cats and only 15% are dogs, which means that there are more substantial problems with dogs. They are migrating more actively, and in the deoccupied territories, we have lots of animals. That's why the issue of spaying is raised by the servicemen and the inhabitants that still live there, because we send food to the occupied territories from UPAW within the project Hostages of War, and there arises the question, what do we do with dogs? Besides mobile spaying stations of relevance is also establishment of rehabilitation centers for animals. These rehabilitation centers are really needed now because spayed and chipped animals could make an integrated approach that can be implemented only thanks to large-scale projects with mobile spaying stations. On the basis of the clinics, which are now providing comprehensive assistance, we also arrange spaying, vaccination, identification of animals, and only 20% of all the animals that have been spayed in Kharkiv have been vaccinated. That's why, besides spaying, there comes the issue of vaccination. But in comprehensive projects, vaccination takes place almost immediately after spaying takes place. What we offer is that if we have an opportunity like that, that would be perfect for solving the issues with animals and with people, safety, humane treatment of animals to avoid the conflicts which sometimes are in place. You know, there may be some conflict situations between humans and animals, so we need to join in the vaccination campaign for animals. The best option would be mobile spaying stations for some accommodation shelters. This would come as a really good rescue tool because after spaying, you can keep animals there for 3 days and then they could undergo vaccination after 3 days, right? Uh, Otherwise, we need to have vaccination on the date of surgery, which could be dangerous and harmful for animals' health. And also, this vaccination may not work. So it would be ideal and it would be safe if we could have such stations for both spaying and vaccination, but these stations must have the place to accommodate dogs and cats for about 3 days. But definitely we need to raise this issue with the international community because we need to help our dogs and cats. And let me also mention that we badly need the support from the public sector because if we take Kharkiv, and if we count the managers working directly with the needs of Spain and helping with transportation, provide reporting. So if we count them, there are only 7 managers like that in Kharkiv. These are 3 people, volunteers from Together, then 2 people from the League of Animal Support, and also Animal Rescue Kharkiv, 2 persons, and 1 person, Natalia Kovalenko, who is just a manager. So we lack managers, we lack support from the public sector for management matters. Without this, it is not possible to consolidate the effort of all the actors involved in the spaying process. I'm rather optimistic about the future because I can see that uh, if we support animals, we support people, we support the city in general, and this approach helps us also give jobs to veterinaries in this complicated period of life. International projects help them, help their families to keep their jobs and to somehow have a livelihood. So I think that Spain has very good prospects for solving the issue of stray animals. And another issue is the issue of the occupied territories. You know, people were arranging spaying for animals almost in their occupation. Malarohan, for example, arranged the process of spaying. Then Derhachi under Shelling arranged this procedure of spaying. Molodonilivka did the same. And Kupiansk, you know Kupiansk in Victoria Kruchinina. So it was under occupation, but anyway, this person found some money for animals, and people found some money for animals. So we gave just a small amount, just 1,000 hryvnias for spaying of animals. So this is a rather active dog protection movement, and it consolidates the society. It leads to the fact that we are making our environment in which we live safer. I have a lot of video and pictures, so probably Together with the presentation, I will send those videos and photos. Sorry for my problems with the internet, but these videos and pictures are really interesting. Yes, we will make a special video with your presentation, with your pictures. That will all be arranged, no problem, and we will publish it on our YouTube channel. I think that this will be fine. I hope so, and thanks a lot for the invitation, because I think that the authorities have heard us, and the public sector has heard us, and donors have heard us. Thank you for organizing this conference. Well, we've got one question. Just try to take it quickly before the break. So here is the following question. What about the EU countries? Does their assistance really reach the animals in combat areas? Do you mean through the prism of Spaying? I think that the question is general, not only about Spaying. Well, as far as food is concerned, it's really difficult for the food to reach animals in combat areas. And in particular, over the most complicated period in Kharkiv, it was really difficult. And there were a lot of people who did not leave the area because they didn't want to leave their pets. And in one of the areas of Kharkiv, there is a person staying in the basement, and this is a person who is giving, normally used to give food to cats and dogs, and this person stayed in this area. You know, food and assistance are provided by policemen, by servicemen, by volunteers who somehow manage to go to the districts under shelling, under constant shelling, and in particular during very active combat actions, animals try to go to the areas where people live. And this means that they are trying to reach the city. And this issue of assistance is one thing, but I would tell you that we have really seen this migration in place. We've got absolutely different animals, and you know, I will not wonder if these animals have come from other regions, maybe Donetsk and Luhansk regions, because animals are always trying to find people, and doctors can already see some problems related to the diseases of those animals. Let me mention this, maybe veterinary doctors can hear us. These are COVID diseases among animals, and this virus actually makes a person die very quickly. We cannot actually save any other animal that is not vaccinated against COVID. So we determined that since we had a lot of animals which died and which we could not save, so most probably they had COVID. That's what Alexandra from Veterinaries Without Borders actually told us about yesterday. Yes, and I can confirm this data because I've been staying here for 7 months and I have seen this happen. So assistance comes, it reaches even remote areas, and people who are staying in Kharkiv are dedicated people. About 15% of the people who are staying in Kharkiv and who have been staying in Kharkiv have stayed here just to help others, including animals. So people are really risking their lives to provide some assistance to animals. Thank